Hey, baseball fans. Welcome back to Tits and Streams, your go-to channel for daily baseball predictions. I'm Koken, and I'm here to give you the inside scoop on today's top matchups. Before we dive into today's picks, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on our latest predictions. If you enjoy our content, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends who love baseball and sports betting. Our channel relies entirely on your support. We don't have any sponsors, so every like, share, and comment helps us keep going. If you'd like to support us even more, consider donating by pressing the thanks button under this video. We love hearing from you. Drop a comment below. Your feedback makes our channel better. All right, let's get into today's predictions. Today we have predictions for 4 MLB games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the St. Louis Cardinals and Toronto Blue Jays. Today we've got an intriguing matchup between the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. Both teams are out of the playoff picture and are essentially playing for pride as the season winds down. The Blue Jays, sitting at 70-78 after facing off against the Braves and Mets, have been inconsistent, scoring 12 runs over their last 3 games. They've managed to put up 4 or more runs in 3 of their last 6 outings, and when they hit that mark, they've walked away with a win in 4 of those 6 games. Key players like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who leads the team with 180 hits and 95 RBIs, and the combined efforts of George Springer and Ernie Clement, who together have 214 hits and 103 RBIs, highlight the team's offensive potential. However, they're still likely to finish at the bottom of the AL East, a disappointing outcome given the talent on their roster. On the flip side, the Cardinals have shown some improvement from last season but haven't been able to make a significant push. With a 74-73 record after series against the Mariners and Reds, their offense has been hit or miss. They've scored just 11 runs in their last 3 games and managed 3 or fewer runs in 7 of their last 10. Losing 4 of their last 7 games when scoring under 4 runs tells the story. Mason Wynn leads the Cardinals with 145 hits and 50 RBIs, while Brendan Donovan and Nolan Arenado have combined for 286 hits and 129 RBIs. While the Cardinals have improved, they still haven't lived up to the high expectations the franchise typically carries. On the mound, the Blue Jays turn to Jose Berríos, who's had a resurgence this season, posting a 3.59 ERA over 170.1 innings. Berríos has allowed 28 home runs and 47 walks, while striking out 134 batters. Although his strikeout numbers are a bit down, his recent form is stellar, with a 1.37 ERA over his last 3 outings. Despite being inconsistent in the past, it's tough to criticize how he's been performing lately. For the Cardinals, Eric Fedde takes the ball. Fedde was acquired from the White Sox at the trade deadline, and while he showed promise early on, his results with St. Louis have been up and down. In 37.2 innings with the Cardinals, he's given up 6 home runs and 15 walks, while striking out 30 batters. His .430 ERA overall has been better in recent starts, where he's posted a .316 ERA over his last 3 outings. The Blue Jays have had their struggles in interleague play, going 2-7 in their last 9, while the Cardinals are hitting just .246 against right-handers in their last 10 games. Meanwhile, Toronto's offense has been more effective against righties, hitting .314 during that span. When we look at the bullpens, there's a clear difference. The Blue Jays bullpen has been shaky, with a .580 ERA over their last 10 games, while the Cardinals' pen has been much more reliable, posting a .313 ERA during that same stretch. Despite the Blue Jays' recent inconsistency, I believe Jose Berríos' form gives them a strong edge in this one. He's been solid, especially at home, where he's sporting a 2.81 ERA. I expect him to go deep into this game, perhaps 7 innings, and give Toronto a strong chance to secure a lead before handing it over to the bullpen. I'm backing the Blue Jays in this one, especially with the favorable price at home and Berríos' recent dominance on the mound.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Miami Marlins and Washington Nationals. Let's dive into the matchup between the Nationals and the Marlins. Neither team has made much noise this season, but that doesn't mean there's nothing to watch. The Marlins, who were playoff contenders last year, have taken a serious step back this season, currently fighting with the Colorado Rockies for the worst record in the National League. Sitting at 55-93 after facing teams like the Phillies and Pirates, the Marlins' offense has been inconsistent. They've managed to score 8 runs over their last 3 games, but when they've scored at least 4 runs in 4 of their last 8 games, they've won 4 out of 5 of those matchups. Jake Berger has been leading Miami with 117 hits and 61 RBIs, while Jesus Sanchez and Otto Lopez have combined for a solid 198 hits and 92 RBIs. On the other side, the Nationals have also fallen off a cliff after a competitive first half. They're currently 66-81 after their series against the Pirates and Braves. The Nationals' bats have shown some life, scoring 12 runs in their last 3 games and putting up 4 or more runs in 5 of their last 8 outings. When they've hit that 4-run mark, Washington has won 4 straight games. Luis Garcia Jr. has been a bright spot with 129 hits and 64 RBIs, while C.J. Abrams and Jacob Young have combined for 236 hits and 100 RBIs. Now let's look at the pitching. Patrick Corbin is set to start for Washington, while Valente Boso gets the nod for Miami. Boso, like many young Marlins pitchers, hasn't quite lived up to expectations this year. He's got a .450 ERA on the season, but has been sharper lately, with a 3.57 ERA over his last 3 starts. While he's logged 53 innings this year, Boso doesn't appear to be in the same league as the elite Marlins pitchers of the past. Injuries to key arms, like Sandy Alcantara, Trevor Rogers, and Edward Cabrera, have thinned out Miami's pitching depth, and their bullpen has struggled at times, amplifying the pressure on the starters. Meanwhile, Corbin continues to be a shell of his former self. With his hefty contract nearing its end, it's hard to see Washington bringing him back. He's posted a 5.68 ERA this season, slightly improving to 4.58 over his last 3 starts. The Marlins, though, have struggled against lefties, hitting just 195 against them over their last 10 games. However, the Nationals' bullpen has been abysmal, sporting a 7.13 ERA over their last 10 games, compared to a much more respectable 3.60 ERA from the Marlins' bullpen. Valente Boso may not be someone to fully trust, especially on the road, but he's been solid over his last 11.1 innings. Corbin, on the other hand, has been one of the worst pitchers in baseball over the last few years, and it's rare to get a chance to fade him with plus money on the line. Since 2021, Corbin has posted a 5.71 ERA, a 1.53 WHIP, and a 30-63 record. The Marlins' current roster has had success against him in the past, which gives Miami the edge in this one. In conclusion, while this game seems like it could go either way, I believe fading Corbin is always a smart move. With the Marlins handling righties better and the Nationals' bullpen in shambles, I'm leaning toward the Miami Marlins in this matchup. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Baltimore Orioles and Detroit Tigers. The Detroit Tigers and Baltimore Orioles face off in a high-stakes matchup as both teams fight to stay relevant in the postseason race. Baltimore just wrapped up a tough series against their rival, the Boston Red Sox, where they managed a 5-3 win on Tuesday, but dropped the other 2 games, 12-3 and 5-3. In their opener against Detroit, the Orioles' bats were quiet, producing only 1 hit in a 1-0 loss. Zach Eflin had a decent showing, going 6.2 innings and allowing just 1 earned run, but the offense didn't back him up. Corbin Burns, their ace, is expected to start the next game and will need to step up. On the Tigers' side, they faced the Colorado Rockies in their recent series, winning the first 2 games convincingly, 11-0 and 7-4, before dropping the finale 4-2. Friday saw a fantastic pitching performance, highlighted by Brant Herter, who threw 5.2 scoreless innings with only 1 walk and 1 hit allowed, striking out 8 batters. Ty Madden, with a 1-0 record, a 2.57 ERA, and a 1.21 WHIP over 14 innings pitched, is slated to start for Detroit. Madden has been sharp, allowing 2 or fewer earned runs in his last 3 outings. For Baltimore, the situation is becoming more urgent, as they continue to fall behind the New York Yankees in the competitive AL East. With only a handful of games left, every win is critical, and their wild-card hopes are on the line. Meanwhile, Detroit is still chasing the Minnesota Twins, trying to close the gap and sneak into the postseason. The Tigers are notorious for finishing strong, and this season has been no different as they're heating up at just the right time. The Orioles are counting on Burns to be their difference maker, but he's shown signs of fatigue lately. While he allowed only 2 runs in each of his last 2 starts, he didn't last long in those games, going just 5 and 6 innings. Those outings were against weaker opponents in the Chicago White Sox and Tampa Bay Rays. Before that, Burns had some tough starts, giving up 6 and 8 runs in back-to-back games, which raised questions about his durability as the season winds down. Burns' .318 ERA is solid, but his strikeout numbers, currently at 157, are much lower than his usual totals. He typically finishes the season with 200-250 strikeouts, but with only a few starts remaining, it's unlikely he'll reach those numbers this year. Offensively, the Orioles have struggled, batting just .234 against righties and .232 against lefties in their last 10 games. In contrast, the Tigers have fared better, hitting .261 against right-handed pitching, though they've struggled against lefties, managing only a 182 average in that same period. Baltimore's bullpen has been a big issue recently, posting a 5.04 ERA over the last 10 games. That's been a major factor in their losses, allowing the Yankees to pull ahead in the standings. While Baltimore has historically dominated this matchup, winning 7 of the last 8 meetings with the Tigers, Detroit seems to be catching fire at the perfect time. The Orioles, on the other hand, are starting to resemble last year's late-season collapse. Despite Baltimore's edge in head-to-head history, I think the Tigers have the momentum right now, and I'm taking Detroit to pull off the win. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Cincinnati Reds and Minnesota Twins. In today's clash between the Twins and the Reds, we have 2 teams heading in very different directions. The Reds are coming off an impressive victory on Friday where they posted 8 runs, fueled by a grand slam from Elly De La Cruz. Their offense has been averaging 4.37 runs per game, while their pitching has held teams to 4.27 runs per contest. Although they've been inconsistent at times, the Reds' young stars, especially De La Cruz, continue to shine, racking up 23 home runs and 65 RBIs so far this season. The Twins, on the other hand, are struggling. They managed to score 4 runs on Friday, but couldn't overcome a shaky performance from their pitching staff, with Bailey Ober allowing 5 runs over 6.2 innings. Offensively, Minnesota is averaging 4.69 runs per game, but their pitching is allowing just as much. This imbalance has them fighting to hold on to a wild card spot, and their recent form suggests they're stumbling at a critical time in the season. Minnesota will send Simeon Woods Richardson to the mound today. He's 5.4 on the year with a 3.96 ERA, but his recent performances have been far from convincing, sporting a 6.39 ERA in his last few starts. He hasn't been able to go deep into games, adding extra stress on a bullpen that's already been unreliable. Meanwhile, the Reds will counter with Nick Martinez, who's been a bit inconsistent but has held a 3.67 ERA this season. While his outings can vary, Martinez has mostly kept his team in games, even during rough patches. A significant factor in today's game is going to be the bullpens. Cincinnati has the advantage here, posting a solid 3.40 ERA over their last 10 games, compared to Minnesota's 4.74 bullpen ERA during the same span. If the game stays close late, the Reds could have the upper hand. Another thing to note is Cincinnati's recent dominance against American League teams on the road. They've won 8 of their last 9 games against AL opponents with winning records, while the Twins have struggled against NL teams, particularly those with losing records. This recent trend makes me confident that the Reds are in a great position to capitalize on Minnesota's recent struggles. With Woods Richardson's recent issues on the mound and the Twins' bullpen showing cracks, I'm expecting the Reds to find opportunities early and often. I'm backing the Reds to grab another win and keep their momentum rolling.